Imagery here with Strength Through Self-Care. As a clinical social worker, I'm bringing you tips and tools rooted in holistic self-care so we can better support ourselves during this time of uncertainty and isolation. Today, I want to talk about the power of positive imagery and how we can use visualization exercises to feel relaxed and to cultivate a sense of calm. But first, what is positive imagery? When we talk about positive imagery, we're referring to an internal, focused visualization of a place or a moment that is associated with calmness or happiness. How does it work and why is this important? There's actually been a lot of research on positive imagery, and what we've learned is that the brain activates in the same way when we do a visualization exercise as it does when we're actually experiencing that moment or experiencing that location, which is pretty crazy and pretty cool. We know that our body experiences a physical relaxation response and we tend to feel more relaxed emotionally. There's benefits for creativity and also a slew of psychological and physical benefits for anxiety and stress responses, PTSD symptoms, frustration and anger, insomnia, even chronic pain management, as well as hypertension, irritable bowel syndrome, and migraine headaches. So that's a pretty lengthy list of benefits to really justify why this is such an incredible and relatively easy coping tool for us to use. Now with COVID-19, as we've discussed many times now, we are in an incredibly stressful and even traumatic period for many people. So some of those symptoms that I just named, or some of those conditions I just named, might really ring a bell for you, and we might be experiencing a worsening or an exacerbation or maybe even an onset of some of those things because of the greater cultural and environmental context we exist in. So now more than ever, it's important to have a lot of tools in our toolbox for handling those stress responses, and positive imagery is one I'm hoping to share today. So you'll notice if you go online or on YouTube that there are a lot of guided imagery exercises out there. There are also a lot of apps, including the Calm app, that have meditation as well as guided imagery. These can be really, really great if you don't feel that you have the mental energy or the time to do some of the activities we're going to do today. But keep in mind that they're not going to be personalized. These guided imagery exercises are typically based on scripts where a facilitator will be reading soothing and descriptive phrases as you sit in a comfortable position, often close your eyes, allowing you to follow along into this imaginative type of experience that will hopefully result in you feeling happy, relieved, or calm. But if you want to make it more personalized, you can try the activity that we're going to do today, where we have a personally tailored visualization practice. So I'm going to invite anyone who's watching this to grab a piece of paper, a notebook, or even a tablet or a phone will do, just something where you can write down some ideas or record some thoughts that you have. And once you have what you're going to write on in your writing utensil, I'm going to invite you to think of a place, a calming place, or a word that you associate, or sorry, not a word, a place you associate with one of the following words: calm, serenity, peace, cozy, warm, soothing, safe, grounded, content. So those are all some words to kind of keep in mind. Think of a place that either you've been, a place that maybe you haven't been but you'd love to go, or even a place that you completely make up and imagine on your own. So it can be any of these three that fits into one of those words, or maybe multiple words on that list. If you need a little inspiration with this, you can always peruse old pictures and videos of places that you've gone, some of your favorite spots, or you can do a quick Google search with some keywords that come to mind, such as calming place or ocean sunset. You can get as descriptive as you like. But probably for a lot of us, we have some ideas even without the inspiration exercise. We know our happy place, we know our calm place. Again, whether that's a real place or kind of a hypothetical imaginary space that we come up with. So once you have your space or your place, the next step is for us to jot down as many sensory details as we can think of. So we're gonna think about what we see in that place, what we hear, what we can touch or kind of the tactile sensations, what we can taste, what we can smell, and maybe even how our body feels or body movement that's kind of involved, if any. So that's kind of an extra sixth sense, if you will. But you're going to jot down ideas for each of these. And the reason that we're doing this is because we want to be as vivid as possible in our description. The more vivid that we are, the more effective the response is going to be in terms of that relaxation response I was talking about. So it's not enough to just say, okay, I'm sitting by the ocean, right? Probably not going to feel that different. We really want to be able to envision that we're currently there right now, actually sitting on the beach. So I'm going to use the ocean or a lake as an example. Again, it might be an outdoor space for you, it might be an indoor space. Maybe it's watching the snow fall quietly outside while you curl up with hot cocoa by the fireplace. This could literally be anything. It's going to look different for different people. But just for the sake of coming up with one to share on here, I'm going to pick like sitting on the beach by a lake or by the ocean. And if I were to go through sensory details here, I would first start with what I see. So I might talk about the color, the hue of the water. Maybe it's kind of a teal, turquoise, maybe it's clear, right? And we can see pebbles or sand underneath, things like that, seashells if we're in the ocean. So I'm going to talk about what it looks like, maybe what the sand looks like, what the sky looks like that day. And then I'm going to really listen, right? What do I hear in that space? Maybe I hear the sound of birds, seagulls. Maybe I hear the actual sound of the movement of water or waves, especially if it's a little bit of a windier day, a breezier day. So we're going to talk about what we can hear. Then we're going to talk about what we can feel. And this could be me putting my toes into the sand, kind of scrunching them up and feeling the sand between my toes and along my feet. Might be feeling the breeze in my scarf, in my hair, right against my skin, or feeling the warmth of the sun, kind of absorbing like the warmth of the sun on my skin. So tactile sensations. Maybe we pick up a seashell and we imagine what that feels like. Then we're going to do scents or smells. This might be kind of a salty, fresh smell for the ocean, might not be for a lake, of course. We might be eating something and maybe there's a smell associated with that. Maybe there's a fresh smell because it's just rained. Maybe we can smell some plants, some trees or some flowers that are just off the beach. And then of course we have taste. So again, maybe we're having a drink or having a food item. Hopefully we're not tasting salt water, but certainly that is an experience we can have if we're in the ocean. But again, the idea is we're picking pleasant sensory experiences that are going to evoke those feelings and those emotions that we identified earlier. So that's an example using the beach of how we want to go into detail. I, of course, went through that very, very quickly, but you really want to spend a few minutes reflecting on each of those senses. And once you've written it down, what you'll do is you'll find a comfortable body position in a space that's free of distraction, kind of like when we did our loving kindness meditation or our diaphragmatic breathing in earlier videos. And then what you'll do is, if it feels safe, you'll close your eyes. Now, if it doesn't feel safe, you can keep a gentle gaze. But if it does feel safe, I encourage you to close your eyes because it really helps with the visualization process for a lot of folks. And then we're going to imagine that we're in that space and we're literally going to go through that list of kind of what we see, what we hear, based on all those descriptions that we came up with. If we need to take a sneak peek at our list, we can, but it can be helpful to do the list as a brainstorm and read it beforehand so you don't have to open your eyes in the middle of your exercise. Now, if you find it a little hard to do because maybe it's kind of noisy or cluttered in the space that you're in, that's totally understandable, especially given the quarantine experience that we're having right now and just the chaos that we're living in, or at least many of us. What you can do is you can actually get in touch by finding some sounds or even some scents that remind you of that space. So what I mean by that is going back to the ocean example, maybe we go on YouTube or go on the Calm app and we find some ocean waves and we actually play that in the background while we do the visualization exercise. So you can find different sounds that'll really help you kind of set the tone and hopefully block out some of those other distracting noises going on. You You could do the same with scents. Our sense of smell is strongly connected to emotional experiences and also to memories. So if this is a place you've gone before, and you have a particular scent that really stands out to you, a food item or a fragrance, something plant related. If you happen to have that food item, or you happen to have a lotion, a scented candle, essential oils, you can bring that into the mix as well. So again, we're trying to touch into as much of the sensory information as possible so we can have a very authentic feeling experience for our mind and for our body. And you'll do this for as long as you like. There's no set amount of time. I would say spend at least 5 minutes doing it, but maybe you spend 10 minutes or more. And this is something that you can revisit multiple times. You can also come up with a couple different options, especially if maybe there are 2 or 3 really calming spaces that you thought of. So I hope that you find this helpful. Give it a try. Get some inspiration if you need to. Get some items around the house if you need to pull into it. As always, I'm wishing you all wellness. Stay healthy, stay safe, and God willing, I'll see you next time.